Hi everyone, this is Ida of Created to Create. Welcome back to my channel. If you're not 18 years or older, this video content is not intended for you. I shared a haul today and I shared some an ink pad that I had purchased, and someone was asking if I could share what they look like. So I do want to share that with y'all because I do spend a lot of money on ink pads. Because when I make a tag or a card or whatever, I want to make sure that it stands out. So one of the first gold ones that I bought, and I bought this a while back, but I've never been happy with the way it stamps out. But I'm going to stamp it out for you so you can see. And it's this gold one. It's called Brilliance. And for me, it doesn't really stamp out that great. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to ink this stamp up really well so you can see. Another thing is that when you stamp, I recommend that you use some type of foam. It used to be you could find these at Joann's, and it was actually longer, and I cut mine in half. But it's a firm foam sheet. It has a little give, but not much. And that allows you to have a more crisp image when you stamp it. So I'm going to go ahead and so you can see that even though I was talking and I was holding it, if it dried out, I will add more ink. And I want you to see the difference between this ink and the other one that I'm going to use in the gold. And I just chose just any one. So that's the Brilliance. And I'm going to stamp it. I mean, you can see it, but it's not that great. So now I'm going to stamp it. And if it were very fine, it would be harder to see. It's more like a pale yellow to me. So now I'm going to show you the Delicata gold so you can see the difference. And I'm going to stamp it right next to it so you can compare it. Close this up. Actually, I'm going to stamp it right underneath so you can compare the difference. Look at the difference in the colors. So for me, this one looks more like a gold, and it is very shimmery and it stands out more. To me, this is more like a pale yellow. So that's the way those stamp out. And let me see if I can just give it a wipe before I add another color to it. And this is a little chamois that I keep in just a plastic box. If you don't, I actually need to wash it. If you don't keep it in a container or a Ziploc, it does dry out and gets very stiff. But all you have to do is just re-wet it and it gets soft again. So this is just a stamped chamois, but it's not going to take off the Stays-On that's on there. I would have to use the Stays-On spray stamp cleaner to get that off. So that's the gold. Now I'm going to do the rose gold, and I want you to see how pretty these stamp. I don't have the pink. I'm going to list the pink one in the description box and the silver one. I don't have those two, but I'm willing to bet that those will probably do a very good job as well in the Delicata brand. So here it is in the rose gold. I don't want to press too firmly because when you do that, it kind of spreads out the acrylic, and it kind of looks like a blob versus a crisp stamp image. So there is the rose gold. Look at how beautiful that is. I hope you guys can see that. It's very, very pretty. So there's the rose gold. I do want to invest in the silver and in the pink. And just wipe that off. And now I'm going to do, this is another one that I really like, and it is Versafine Ink Pad, and it's Versafine Clear. What I like about this is when you stamp a sentiment on a card, sometimes I think that the black is very, it's really dark, you know, and I think that when you add a sentiment, like the contrast is really so way off, and I think this would be a better transition as far as what you're doing on your card, and then stamping. If you want to stamp in something dark, it won't be that dark, but it'll still be dark, but not as dark as a stark black. And then I'm going to take a black paper, and I'm also going to stamp some of these on black so we can see what it does on black. So I really like this for stamping on my cards. This is what I am currently using when I stamp on my cards. I'm going to stamp down here again. And I think it did a really good job. There it is, and it's more like a dark gray instead of a charcoal gray instead of a black. And I think this looks better to me. It's not really subtle, but it's a little bit more subtle than the black. Okay, so that's what it did on black. Let me grab a on white. Let me grab a black sheet of paper, and we can try it out on black, and let's see what it does. Oh, let's see. So I'm going to grab a black sheet, and it has texture on one side, but I'm going to turn it to the smoother side, and I'm going to stamp, I'm going to do the white first. And make sure I got this pretty clean because I don't want to transfer this onto my ink pad. I wanted a white ink that I could stamp on acetate, on plastic, on anything. And this is the one that I chose, and I shared a tag earlier with y'all. What did I do with it? It's right here. This tag, as you can see right there, it has the word thankful. And it really does show up on, even though the stamp is really small, you can still read it. It's on acetate. It's not coming off, so it's not going to rub off. So this you can use on acetate and on vellum. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. I don't want to ruin that. I think I'm going to get a clean stamp, guys, because I really don't. You know what? Nope. I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it. It's scary. Make sure you clean your stamp before you do what I'm doing, because see, it is getting a little darker. Not too bad, but a little bit. And I didn't add as much as I would on a clean stamp, so I would definitely use the stamp cleaner for the stays on stamp cleaner for this. But I'm going to stamp it anyway, and you're going to see that this does stand out even in, and I didn't add the correct amount of ink or anything because I didn't want the black to transfer onto my ink pad. Nope, I didn't get enough on there because I'm so afraid. But the white that you can see, it does stand out. You see that? And it comes empty, and then you get the bottle, the refill, which it says is equivalent to 3 refills. Or maybe, let's see. Let me try this again because I want to be fair as to, it's got white on there already anyway, so I might need to add more ink to it. I'm not sure, but we will see. Y'all can hear my son playing his game. Do y'all's kids get loud like that when they're playing Xbox? Do they get a potty mouth like mine? So I'm going to stamp it again. And let's see if this does a better job. If not, it's because it needs more ink. And maybe I should do that, but Let's see. Well, it did a better job there, but I do think it needs more ink. But you can see that even on black, it stands out. So I'm going to clean that off. So just remember to make sure that your ink pad has plenty of ink before you use it. And this is that stuff that doesn't come off, so you would have to use like stays on when you use the white ink as well, like that, because it won't come off. Okay, I'm not going to do this one because that one's not going to stand out, but I am going to do this one and the gold one, and we're going to see if they stand out on black. I believe they will, but we will see. It's okay, so I got plenty of ink on my ink pad. Yeah, look at that. That's the rose gold. I bet you the silver would do just as good of a job, and the pink that I want to get. So let's do the gold now. So just make sure that if you're going to use your white ink, to make sure you're starting out with a very clean stamp. If the ink doesn't come off with just a wet rag or chamois, then you need to use some kind of stronger cleaner, which I recommend the Stays On. So now we're going to do the gold. Look at that, guys. Even on black, it stands out. So those are the inks that I have been playing with. I really like the way they stamp. When I wipe these, it does come off with just a wet chamois, but not the white stamp. Not the white ink pad. That one doesn't come off very easily. But there it is. Now, to be fair, I'm going to go ahead and ink this, add some more ink to it, because I want you to see that it really does work well. My ink refills. So it comes in a package like this, and you get a little squeegee, and you also get the ink bottle, the refill. So I'm just going to add a few drops. I mean, that's probably way too much. And then what you do is you get your little squeegee and you kind of smear it on your ink pad. But I want to try and make sure that it gets on everything. Like right here, I don't feel like it got on everything, but I think this will be better. Just wipe that off. And I'm adding more ink. Please don't do what I'm doing, because I don't want you to ruin your ink pad. I didn't ruin mine, but I could have. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp it down here, and hopefully we're going to see the true results of how this white ink really does work and really does stand out, and it's perfect for acetate or anything like that. But I would probably refreshen it when I go to use it. Like, this really grabs. Look at that, guys. I think that looks pretty good. You can see there's a couple of spots, but that might be that I didn't get enough ink on there. But the ink does stand out as long as your ink pad is well inked up, and so is your stamp, you should be okay. If you put it on a misty or something like that, then you can just dab more ink on there and stamp again. But it does stand out really, really well on the black cardstock. Anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to share with you. so you could see what works and what doesn't work. And you know what? To be really, really fair, I'm going to do this one, the one that I didn't care too much for. I'm going to stamp that one. So we'll see what that does. And then I am going to look for my StazOn and clean my stamp correctly. So I'm trying to make sure I got plenty of ink on here. And who knows, it might surprise me. And I'm going to stamp it down here. You know how I said in the earlier video that the acrylic stamps, it doesn't look the best, but you can still see it. How I said when I use the acrylic stamps, I use StazOn or something like that. So next time I use it, the ink will grab onto the stamp. Well, you could do that with the white because I noticed that it is pretty sticky. So it will so when before you use it, just use it on with the white ink, and then go ahead and use it with any color you want. Not the photopolymer, those do very well, but the acrylic stamps, sometimes, like I said, when you ink them up with some kind of water-based ink, for example, like a Stampin' Up ink, it tends to bead up on the plastic, the acrylic, and when you stamp it, you don't get a good impression. So you're missing spots. So, but if you do the white first and then your color, then the white will make the other ink stick to your stamp. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That's all I wanted to share with y'all. I will link all the inks in the description box, and you can see which one that you like. So remember, this one is that one. The Delicata one, the gold right here, is this one. That is this gold. The rose gold is that one. And the very pale gold is the Brilliance down here at the bottom. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope everyone is having a great day, and God bless. Bye.